So in order to see what kinds of things kids in class are doing, what your students are learning each day, you're gonna go into, it's a website called classroom.google.com. So it is a Google interface there, but you're gonna choose an account to sign in. Now, if you have a Google account, you're not going to be able to see your students' material, so you're actually going to have your students sign in with their Google account in order to see exactly what they would be seeing. But if I sign in here, and I've actually had a couple teachers add me to their Google Classrooms just so I can show you guys what it looks like from a student perspective. So let's say that we are trying to kind of figure out what is happening in ELA. I would go to the class that says ELA or Language Arts, and I'd click into that. Now, if you go in the stream, those are going to be just kind of your typical announcements that teachers are making. Sometimes it'll show, hey, new material or a new assignment was posted. Some teachers use it a little bit more just for your generic announcements. But on the very left-hand side here, there's a little spot that talks about upcoming assignments. What kinds of things are going to be due for your student? And you can view those by just clicking View All. So that tells you exactly what your students are going to be doing. Now, for some teachers, they submit assignments via Google Classroom. For other teachers, it's more of a paper copy, but the Google Classroom is communicating exactly when that is going to be due as a handed in paper copy. So it kind of depends on the teacher. You're going to have to ask your student about that for each class. But if you go back here, and it's a real easy navigation once you realize that that little hamburger right there, we call it, looks a little like a hamburger, is your main menu. So if you click that, it gives you a menu of all of the different classes that your student is enrolled in. So if you click that and then go to Classwork, that classwork, there's all kinds of different topics that work can be put under. So for our ELA class, Surviving Hitler is a unit that they are working with. Bell work is listed there. Even what we did today. Mrs. Kuhn is really, really good about putting exactly what the schedule was of class for the day, but all kinds of different information there. So Redbird, for their like weekly amount of time that they have to spend on Redbird, that's listed there, just kind of as a reminder to students that, hey, you've got your 40 minutes a week that you've got to complete. Anything like writing assignments or vocab worksheets, their journals, their reading, any additional resources, all of that is listed on the side in Mrs. Kuhn's topics. So every teacher is going to structure their Google Classroom just a tiny bit differently. But the thing that stays consistent about it is that we are listing exactly what we're doing for that day so that students never have questions when they come back, like, hey, what did we do when I was gone? They can access that from any device that's connected to the internet. They can access that even while they are home. So if we look at maybe another example of a teacher's Google Classroom, so Mrs. McCabe doesn't really make announcements when she's posted something new. She uses her stream a little bit more just for any special announcements that she might have. If you go into Classwork here, hers is actually organized a little bit differently than Mrs. Kuhn's. It's organized by date. So with those dates, let's say that a student was gone on October 29th, they could click right into that and see what everybody did on that date. So there's a whole list of instructions, and there's also all kinds of links that would help to kind of explain or really almost kind of give an at-home version of that lesson for your student. What we have to be careful about is students can click turn in, but if work is not attached, it's going to get kicked back. In PowerSchool, it's going to be represented with a 0 because I could view assignment and I could click turn in right here on the right hand side, But if I haven't actually clicked in and filled this out, if I haven't actually done my work, it's going to show up as a 0. So sometimes students will try to be a little bit sneaky about that. They'll click turn in, and now it's off of their to-do list, but it's not really done. And teachers are going to catch that, and they're going to put it in as a 0. So don't be fooled if your student says, my Google Classroom says turned in. You might want to check and make sure that all of those assignments are actually completed, okay? For our entire district, the way that we represent those final grades, what the student's true grade in the class is on PowerSchool. So make sure to check PowerSchool for grades, but Google Classroom is going to be our communication to you about what the different assignments and different lessons we're doing in class are.